please. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate your time. This these roundtables are designed to really assist you in getting any and all of your questions answered. And so if you have any questions that come up while we're doing the presentation, please feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I know we will have time at the end to go back and answer any questions that you have or anything that is not clear. Our intent today is just to make sure that you're ready to go for the school year. And obviously, if you need assistance after this is over, you can reach out to any one of us. Heather is here and Carolina is here. They are our two family resource navigators, and of course, I'm here to support providers. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the first slide. I do want you to know that these slides with active links will be found on our UPK page. And I believe that our communications person is out through the rest of this week, but it will be up as soon as we can get it up, because she's the one that adds things to the website. Whoever who has joined us that is not muted, please do that. Thank you. All right, we're going to start with a UPK checklist to start the school year. So, if you have not heard of some of these things, we've got a problem. And please make sure that you contact me afterwards so that we can get you where you need to go. So, this is a reminder again that all of your children who are attending need to be in enrolled status. You will not be paid for any children who are not in enrolled status. So, for those of you who are oldies but goodies, the first couple of years there was the ability to get paid if a child was in accepted status. That is no longer the case. Enrolled status only. Make sure you have submitted all required documents in the provider interest form. Again, I think I have reached out to everybody who did not have the provider interest form submitted and ask you to get that done. There is a list from procurement, the state procurement office, that tells us if there are certain things that are holding up a DocuSign. So we want to make sure that that you respond to any emails that are sent by the state procurement office to correct anything that is needed. And if you are still concerned and have not had a DocuSign, you can reach out to me and I will look up the status. The state has decided that if the only thing that you are missing is the person of interest or on the insurance documents, you needed to put on there either the state of Colorado or the Colorado Department of Early Childhood. They needed to be on your insurance forms as an interested party. They're going to go ahead and send out a DocuSign if that's the only thing that is missing, but they're only going to give you a week to submit a new COI, certificate of insurance, with that on there before they're going to come chasing after you again. So please make sure that you respond to anything that comes from the procurement office. Once you look for, receive, and then make sure you sign the provider agreement immediately and get it back. We need you to confirm or update your account in Metrics Enroll so that you can receive payment. If you have not, if you're a provider, new provider, and have not set that up yet, or you have not updated your information. Everybody has to update their information annually. So please don't ignore those emails coming from Metrics Enroll asking you to do that. And then when you are requested by the state, submit your UPK calendar. We're going to talk a little bit more about this in a few minutes, but this memo has not been distributed yet. So those of you who are asking me as to where you submit your calendars, nowhere yet. As soon as that comes out, and it will be coming out, I believe, from Bridge Care, then there'll be instructions in there about how to submit your calendar. Once that comes out, you will be getting another email from me to make sure that you receive that. And then the calendars are due by August 30. There are some templates in there that you're going to be able to choose from, or you're going to be able to submit your own template, but there are certain things that have to be on your own template. So just wait for that memo to come out, please, and then but be prepared to submit your UPK calendar. And then please keep the status of your children up to date in the UPK portal. So if you find that you've started school and you've got a kiddo who has never showed up or wants to go to another school, you have to do the unenrolling there. And you must unenroll within 10 days. We'd prefer you unenroll quicker than that, because if the family wants to move to another center, we can't do anything with that until you unenroll. If you don't respond within a couple of days to our emails or the family's email asking you to unenroll, then we're going to do it for you, so that the family can move to the next step. But we need you to make sure that you keep the status of your children up to date. If you are not sure how to do any of that, the provider handbook is your friend. There is a new one that is being released this week that will take out most of the references to the year, and will make sure that all updated processes are updated in the handbook. But right now, the handbook is fine for whatever it is you need to do. So these are reminders for direct enrollment. Direct enrollment for non-IEP families began April 1st, as you know, and will continue for this school year through the rest of the program year. At some point, we'll start for 26-27, and we'll run these things parallel, which is always a lot of fun. But right now, we're in direct enrollment for this year. And reminder that you can see selected students in your match tab. And this is anybody who has submitted an application since matching ended, anybody who is looking for a change in their placement, and new applications for this year. We have applications coming in every day. So those new applications are only allowed to select 2 places instead of 10, 2 providers or 2 programs instead of 10. And so it is very important that if you see someone in selected status and you do not have a seat open, then decline that so that the family knows that. If you do have a seat open, then call that family and offer them a tour. And then if they want to go with you, then walk through the process that is in the provider handbook of sending a match and having the family accept the match, etc. If you don't want to go through that process for a very short period of time, we will do it for you. But I want you to submit that request to UPK at jointinitiatives.org so that it comes through to us in Zendesk, and then we will take care of it for you. As I said, the process for direct enrollment is in the provider handbook, and you do not get notifications for selected students, and you have to check your provider portal. So if you have open seats, it's critically important. Whether or not you have open seats, it's critically important that you open that up daily on business days. But make sure you decline if you don't have any seats, and if you do, follow the process of offering a tour. Okay. So this is I need to make sure I didn't skip a slide. I didn't. Okay. Um, so this is some reminders about the provider agreement. There is a provider agreement FAQ document available, and again, you'll be able to link to that on this slide as soon as we get them posted. And then there's an interest form. And again, if you don't know what the interest form is, then you need to call me immediately after this particular roundtable so that I can assist you because you're not going anywhere until that interest form is done. So let's make sure that that gets handled. And as stated, the submission of the Google form is required for all providers. And there is an email here. If you're struggling with the submission of the form, um, contact Elizabeth Wallace, and her email is here, elizabeth.d.wallace@state.co.us. She's our contact in the purchasing or procurement office, and she should be able to assist you. Be patient. She has several thousand providers all across Colorado that she's dealing with, not just us. So it may take a couple of days for her to get back to you. Okay, let's talk about required number of hours. There seems to be a fair amount of confusion around this based on the questions that I'm getting. So, the minimum number of hours for UPK support is 10 hours per week or 360 hours per year, which is August through May. If a family wants fewer hours than 10, you can still enroll them for that if you want to, but it will be without UPK support. So they must be in a program that is a minimum of 10 hours, and that's a part-day program. And they should be attending for a minimum of 10 hours per week. Now, remember that families are eligible for either 15 hours per week, which is all families with a birth date within the kindergarten cutoff range, which is usually 4 years old on or before October 1, but not 5 years old. Or they are eligible for 30 hours per week, and that's based on their income or their income plus an eligibility factor. We're going to talk a little bit later about how you look at what your families are eligible for. But the eligibility has little to nothing to do with the program that the family has chosen. So the rest of this is all about the programs that you're offering and what the family has chosen. So the minimum program that you can offer for UPK is a part-day program, and that's 10 to 14 hours per week. And that requires a minimum of 10 hours per week and 360 hours per UPK year. You can offer a half-day program, which is anywhere between 15 and 29 hours, and that requires a minimum of 15 hours per week and 450 hours per UPK year. And or you can offer a full day or extended day program, and that's 30 plus hours per week, and it requires a minimum of 30 hours per week and 900 hours per UPK year. So as you are developing your calendar, depending upon what programs you are offering, you have to keep in mind not only the number of hours per week that you need to offer, barring a single holiday in there or something of that sort, but also the total number of hours that you have to provide for the child. And again, if you have questions, we're going to go back and go back through and talk about these as I get through these slides. We may answer your question. Okay, so now let's talk about the payment rates as it goes to this. So the part day program, which is 10 to 14 hours, is $4,826.51 annually. Or if you divide that by 10, it's $482.65 per month. If you are offering more than 10 hours, 11 to 14 hours, you may charge for hours 11 through 14 because you're only being paid for 10 hours. The half day program is 15 to 29 hours, and that's $6,085.60 annually or $608.56 per month. And if you are offering more than 15 hours and the family is only eligible for 15 hours, you may charge for the hours above 15 hours. Now we get to the fun part. the family who is eligible for 30 hours and is enrolled in a full or extended day program, you will get paid $10,807 or $1,080 per month. The family who is eligible for 15 hours and enrolled in a full or extended day program may be charged for any hours above the 15 hours per week. But if a family is eligible for 30 hours and enrolled in a full day or extended day program, they can only be charged for the hours above 30 hours per week that they are attending. Okay, so I have had people call me and say, what's the eligibility for this child? And I'll say, well, they're eligible for 15 hours. And then they say, well, it says that they're eligible for 30. And my response to that is, no, that's not what it says. What it says is they have chosen a fuller extended day program with you, but they are only eligible for 15 hours. So you charge them for the rest. So hopefully you can see the distinction between those two. One is what the family is eligible for, and the other is what you are offering and they have chosen. Okay, so supplemental hours information. This is directly from the CDEC. There's a bug in the UPK portal, and it's affecting the hours per week column in the provider enrollment report. And they're trying to get that resolved. And if the value in the family supplemental hours awarded column is true and the child's eligibility for 30 hours has been verified and the family has or will soon be, then the family will soon be notified. Any other value or lack of value means they are not yet verified as eligible for 30 hours. Supplemental hours award date, that's the date of the verification of eligibility. Some date columns may be empty. This does not mean eligibility has been taken away. This is part of the bug. And please note that verification for supplemental hours may take 4 to 6 weeks to complete based upon the time that the family actually submitted their application. So in the provider handbook, there is a page there that shows you how to download your report. Okay. Um, every day they are working to fix this bug, and certain things are being addressed. So before calling us to verify eligibility, which we will happily do for you if you can't get it, I want you to go ahead and try to download this report and look for yourself to see what the child is eligible for. If anywhere in that column it says 30 hours per week or 30 HPW, then the family is eligible for 30 hours per week. If it does not say that in the column, they're not, or they have not yet been reviewed. So if it says 30 hours per week in there, they've been reviewed and it's eligible. If you still can't, if the bug is still not fixed or you're not getting appropriate information, then you should send us an email asking for the eligibility of certain children or your children or however it is you want to do it. And as soon as we have time, we will get back to you. You can either send it to me at nglt@mac.com, or you can send it to the UPK at jointinitiatives.org. That goes to the help desk, and then they will then send it to us immediately, and we will do your supplemental hours for you. We are required to actually track everything we're doing in Zendesk. So the more that goes through Zendesk to begin with, the better, because most of the fields are already filled out for us, and it's much quicker for us to be able to do the tracking and take care of you. But you are still free to come directly to me if you want to, particularly as a provider, and then I'll do the background work to get it into Zendesk. But Carlina and Heather both know how to look up supplemental hours. So if you send it through UPK at jointinitiatives.org, that's another way to be able to get assistance from more than just me. All right, want to remind you, metrics enroll. There are some people who think that they don't have to do this again because they did it last year and nothing has changed. That would not be correct. All providers have to update and confirm their information. So, Metrics did host a virtual office hours about all things payment, and the session was recorded. I do have a link to the recording, and until we can get it up on our page, if you would like the link to the recording, email me and I will be happy to send it to you. It is really comprehensive, it's really good. So you might want to take a look at it. You really only need to see the first half hour. The other half hour is questions and answers, some of which may be relevant to you, so you might want to watch all of it. But anyway, and we have no control over either procurement or metrics IQ. So if you are having an issue with Metrics IQ, you have to submit a ticket at COUPK payments at metricsiq.com. And you already know where you need to submit a ticket for your help with procurement. That's the elizabeth.d.wallace at state.co.us. So we're happy to remind you that that's where you need to send it, but it will cut down on your time if you send it to the right place to begin with, because all we're going to do is tell you that we can't help you. All right. And here is a bunch of provider resources, handbooks, our UPK page at Joint Initiatives, which is where you went for the Zoom link, the help desk, our numbers for both English and Spanish for families who need Spanish, the CDEC websites, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to answer your questions.
All
Okay,
right. Okay. Do you have access to chat to do
I
that?
do. I do.
Okay.
You're saying, and so we cannot have a calendar that offers 450 hours throughout the year if it's not at least 15 hours per week. You can offer more than the 360 hours that you're required to offer, Stacy. But if you have a half day program, and it is 15 hours per week, then your calendar has to offer a minimum of 450 hours. Did that answer your question?
So here's I'll just unmute and ask. So
Mhm.
we considered, because we want to keep multi-age classrooms, we don't want to separate threes and fours.
Right.
So we were considering adding additional days to the calendar, but it wouldn't necessarily equal 15 hours per week. So we would meet the 450 hours yearly requirement, but maybe not the 15 hours a week. So that's not an option, is what I'm hearing.
So you don't have a half day program though, do you? You have a part-day program?
We don't at this time. Correct.
Okay. Okay, got it. So you're planning for the future.
Yes.
Okay. Um, the stance of CDEC is it's 15 and 450.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Just a minute, Alyssana, I'll get to you in just a minute. Just an FY, your links for joint initiatives is not working because it's spelled wrong. All righty, I will fix that. Thank you, Amma. And I do that fairly regularly. It's
That's
terrible.
what took me a little bit to get on because I kept clicking it and tell me not found. I was like, wait a minute, what's wrong? So then I had to go, I looked at it and found it. So
Yeah, it's terrible. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Rihanna, August 1 to May 31st are the effective dates. Okay, so you're setting up your own calendar. Okay, and so some of you have a start date of August 4th, some of you have a start date of August 15th or 14th, whatever. Some of you have a start date in September. Okay, the state is going to pull your enrollment on the first day of September to pay you for August on September 15th. Okay. So, because they're paying in arrears. All right. So, they're going to ask you for your start date, and you're putting your start date in there anytime you enroll a child anyway. Okay. So, it's up to you as to what your start date is. But obviously, it needs to be the same for all children that are starting with you in August or September, however it is you've set things up. Okay. Then, when you submit your calendar as you're developing that, um, whatever your calendar is until the end of May is where you have to do the minimum number of annual hours. Okay. So you get to set it up however your little heart desires, as long as you meet those minimum hours as well as the hours per week, except for the occasional Monday holiday, etc. Obviously, you're still doing Tuesday through Friday at the hours that you would normally do, even if you were open on Monday. Okay. You do have to plan for more hours. So don't plan it to hit 450 hours on the nose. Because if you have a snow day where you have to close or something of that sort, you want to make sure that you plan for more than the minimum hours, because the expectation is that kids are going to have the opportunity to attend with you and receive services for those minimum hours. Okay, so plan for a little bit more. I don't know if that answered your question. I'm not sure who Rhiannon is. Did that answer your question? Okay, I'm going to assume it did unless I hear otherwise. And we just talked about the snow days, et cetera, Shauna. Do you have an additional question with regard to that? The question in the chat is, what is the rule on snow days this year? Okay, we good on that? Okay. Ilisana, can you unmute and ask your question, please?
Yes, I heard you were mentioning 10 hours per week. So for me, that's completely new because I thought, well, I assume that the 15 hours per week is the one that is offered to every child that qualifies with age and to the program. So what is this 10 hours per week thing?
What is the 10 hours per week?
Yes.
When you first set up your programs, you had the opportunity to choose a part day program, which is between 10 and 14 hours. Now, every family is eligible for a minimum of 15 hours. So some families may not want to do a part day program because they can get 15 hours at another center where they're doing half day. But I also have talked to families who have said, I've got a really young 4 year old and I don't want them in a program for that long. And so I would prefer to put them in a part day program. And because it's only 10 hours or 11 hours or 12 hours a week, which is fine. So it's up to the provider in terms of what it is they offer. And a part day program is one of the programs that you had the option to offer. If you need further assistance with that, we can set up a time to talk separately. Okay.
Oh, okay. It was just a question because I didn't know about that part, but that's fine.
Okay. All
Thank you.
right. Could you put your hand down for me so that I don't call on you again? Thank you so much. Jordan, is there any new information on how to enroll 3 year olds as of 10/1/25 that do not have IEPs to ensure payment is made to school districts? I don't know if there was any more out. I will look and see what I can come up with and send it to you if we have it. But that information should also be going to your partner school district. So you can also get it from them, but I think what you have is what we have. Spring, winter, and fall breaks. For a 2 week break, there is no school. I will meet the hours annually. Correct, Michelle. So this is what the minimum number of hours is actually set up to accommodate school districts, because they close over, certain periods for a week or two, right? And so you've got the option to do that too. But when you are open for a full week, you need to be providing those minimum number of hours of your program, either 10 hours, 15 hours, or 30 hours. Okay. Um, so, and then if you're open for a partial week, those are the ones that you're going to count into the total to make sure that you've gotten there. But your calendar, and by the way, we went through calendars on the last meeting, and so there's a recording of that roundtable up on the UPK site that you can go through if you would like. And so we talked about calendars and went through how to set it up, etc. So rather than going over all of that again, I would encourage you to go back and watch that other roundtable. Um, but what you're doing basically is you're setting up a calendar that you're saying, "Hey, I'm offering a full day program, and so therefore my 30 hours a week are going to be divided up on a normal week, Monday through Friday from 8 to 2." Okay, because that's 6 hours. 6 times 5 is 30. Okay. So these are my normal hours for UPK. Okay. And then anything before or after that that is offered to the family that you're charging them for is based on the rate that you have in your profile. Okay. So you're going to be asked to say, in a normal week, here's my UPK hours based on the program that you have set up. Okay, so that's what you're going to be asked, and as you're doing that, then your overall calendar has to meet for days open and offering services, has to meet the minimum number of hours. So that's why you want to wrap in more hours for snow days, etc., unexpected closures, if you as you're setting up your calendar. Um, while running a full day program, is it okay to enroll two separate families that only need their 15 hours weekly? No. We have to set up a half day program for you. Um, so the challenge may be is if you're offering a full day program, you may have somebody in there who is eligible for 30 hours. And it's confusing in terms of payments if the family is only eligible for 15. And I'm going to back up a little bit and I'm going to change my answer slightly. Okay. I have already told some providers that have a full day program that have families that only want to come for 15 hours, and the provider does not have a half day program, that if they want to take up one of their full day seats for a kiddo who is only coming for 15 hours, that's up to them. Okay. Rather than setting up a half day seat, because that takes time. And right now, with where we are right now, it's probably better to just go ahead and use your full day seat for a 15-hour person if you want to do that. So now I'm going to back up again and I'm going to say, heck, if these two families are only eligible for 15 hours, okay, and you want to do a morning and an afternoon, c'est la vie. I would not prefer that. I would prefer to set up a half day AM and a half day PM program for you so that the families are actually signed up in a program where they are attending. But if it's only one seat and you're doing that, we can live with it. However, I would like to be notified that that's what you're doing so that we have made a note on that. And so that if anybody reaches out to us and says, what the heck is this provider doing? We can answer the question. And then they'll turn around and tell us to set up a half day AM and a half day PM program. So, but yeah, right now we're too close to the start of school to make you go through that if you've got a handle on what it is you're doing. All right. I don't see any other questions in the chat. So now I would like you to raise your hand if you have other questions, and we'll go ahead and call on you and we can about anything at this point, and we can attempt to answer your questions. Do you all feel prepared here? Ready to go? Uh, Ilisana?
Yes. You say earlier something probably maybe I didn't get a word because my understanding in English. But you said something nobody's gonna pass without a nutrition form. You say nutrition form? Did you
I
mention any nutrition form? That's what I heard earlier.
tuition form.
Yeah, no, I heard nurturing or nurture or something like that. I wasn't sure if you mean which type of forms or the ones that we already filled up.
Um, I think you have already filled out everything you need to, but again, you and I can talk offline and I'll be able to assist you better.
Okay. Also, another question. You were saying that, I guess, just to know, maybe for next year, that there is some people that start in at the first week of August or the second or in September. That's what you were saying. So, I mean, how that will affect to the 450 hours? Like, for example, I start on the 1st of August, but if like I decide to start the second week, I mean,
Uh-huh.
there is 1 week that I'm not getting paid, or how that works.
No. So let's say you have a child, let's say you decide to start in the second week, and you have a child that stays with you for the entire year. Okay. You are going to get 10 equal payments. Even if you start partway through August, you will still get a full payment for August. And you're going to get 10 equal payments. And the May payment will be, there will be a payment on May 15th for April, and then there will be a payment on June 1 for May. And so it does not matter whether or not you start but then you have to over that start date between that start date and whatever your end date is in May, you have to have provided a minimum of 450 hours.
Oh, okay. So you can accommodate the hours.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that was my question. Thank you.
All right. Is there anything else? Okay, so just as a reminder, if you as a provider need help with whatever it is you are doing, first, Ilisana, I'll talk to you offline, okay? Um, if you are a provider and you need additional assistance, please reach out to me first at nglt@mac.com. If you have a family who needs assistance, we would prefer that you go to upk@jointinitiatives.org or the numbers that were on the bottom of your screen, 719-630-0927. And if you have a Spanish speaking family, it is 719-960-7336. Carolina can also help with English speaking families, but she is our bilingual UPK family resource navigator. Um, And we also know that we're coming up against it here. So if you have kids that need to be moved from one program to another or whatever, send me an email at nglt@mac.com. If I need assistance with that, I will send them on to Heather and Carlina to do them if I have problems keeping up with them. But let's end. If you are asking for a child to be moved from one of your programs to another, and you have already enrolled them, unenroll them first before you ask us, because we technically are not supposed to be unenrolling for you. We can do it and we will do it if we have to, but we don't really want to because we're not supposed to. Alma?
Can you clarify the calendar? Because, and the reason I'm asking this is because I sit on CCAP and other things. I thought the calendar was only for the stacking purposes of CCAP and UPK.
Nope. Everybody is going to be asked to submit their calendar.
Okay.
I have actually seen the proposed messaging from the state. They asked for feedback. And so I'm asking you to sit tight. When you get uh, that messaging, all UPK providers will be asked to submit their calendar. The priority for stacking is going to be those families who are enrolled in a full day program where they are eligible for 30 hours or more in for UPK. However, all providers are going to be asked to submit their calendar.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions at this point? Ilisana, let's set up a time to talk, or you can stay on after this and I can work with you on your other questions.
Okay, I can stay until the end of the meeting.
Okay. All right. Heather, you may stop the recording.